tools that allow our members to create and tell their stories. From studio interviews to sports coverage to field shows, we provide the community the chance to stay informed and get involved. If you're a local company looking for an opportunity to promote your business, consider becoming a sponsor of Milford TV. We offer several sponsorship options for local business visibility during our sports broadcast as well as other areas. Whether you hope to inspire others, highlight issues you're passionate about, or would like to learn more and participate in the production process, Milford TV is the perfect place to start. Call or visit us at milfordtv.net for information on how to become a member or volunteer, and see why now is the time to join the Milford TV family. Come on over so you can be part of the action. Interested in bringing your ideas to life? Here at Milford TV, we give you the opportunity and resources you need to turn your content into reality. We offer memberships with access to equipment and use of our in-studio setup to allow you to get your message across in a professional manner. Or if you simply have the desire to gain hands-on experience in the field of digital media, you can become a volunteer at Milford TV, where we teach essential skills and tools that allow our members to create and tell their stories. From studio interviews to sports coverage to field shows, we provide the community the chance to stay informed and get involved. If you're a local company looking for an opportunity to promote your business, consider becoming a sponsor of Milford TV. We offer several sponsorship options for local business visibility during our sports broadcast as well as other areas. Whether you hope to inspire others, highlight issues you're passionate about, or would like to learn more and participate in the production process, Milford TV is the perfect place to start. Call or visit us at milfordtv.net for information on how to become a member or volunteer, and see why now is the time to join the Milford TV family. Come on over so you can be part of the action. Interested in bringing your ideas to life? Here at Milford TV, we give you the opportunity and resources you need to turn your content into reality. We offer memberships with access to equipment and use of our in-studio setup to allow you to get your message across in a professional manner. Or if you simply have the desire to gain hands-on experience in the field of digital media, you can become a volunteer at Milford TV, where we teach essential skills and tools that allow our members to create and tell their stories. From studio interviews to sports coverage to field shows, we provide the community the chance to stay informed and get involved. If you're a local company looking for an opportunity to promote your business, consider becoming a sponsor of Milford TV. We offer several sponsorship options for local business visibility during our sports broadcast as well as other areas. Whether you hope to inspire others, highlight issues you're passionate about, or would like to learn more and participate in the production process, Milford TV is the perfect place to start. Call or visit us at milfordtv.net for information on how to become a member or volunteer, and see why now is the time to join the Milford TV family. Come on over so you can be part of the action. Interested in bringing your ideas to life? Here at Milford TV, we give you the opportunity and resources you need to turn your content into reality. We offer memberships with access to equipment and use of our in-studio setup to allow you to get your message across in a professional manner. Or if you simply have the desire to gain hands-on experience in the field of digital media, you can become a volunteer at Milford TV, where we teach essential skills and tools that allow our members to create and tell their stories. From studio interviews to sports coverage to field shows, we provide the community the chance to stay informed and get involved. If you're a local company looking for an opportunity to promote your business, consider becoming a sponsor of Milford TV. We offer several sponsorship options for local business visibility during our sports broadcast as well as other areas. Whether you hope to inspire others, highlight issues you're passionate about, or would like to learn more and participate in the production process, Milford TV is the perfect place to start. Call or visit us at milfordtv.net for information on how to become a member or volunteer, and see why now is the time to join the Milford TV family. Come on over so you can be part of the action.
Number 18 in center field, Owen Finnegan. Batting sixth, number 17, the catcher, Franco Saglumbetti. Batting seventh, number 7, the designated hitter, Zach Deptula. Batting eighth, number 4, the shortstop, Ben Morse. Batting ninth, number 14, in right field, Jacob Morse. And on the mound for Framingham, number 5, Simon Nislick. The Framingham team is coached by Jason Smith, assisted by Evan Hermanson, Joey Sylvester, and Brady Levinson. And now for the Milford starting lineup. Leading off from Milford, number 13 in right field, Nick Pedroli. Batting second, number 3 at third base, Sean McGee. Batting third, number 7 in left field, Braden Lewis. Batting fourth, number 17, the shortstop, Sam Schoenberg. Batting fifth, number 2, the catcher, Jack Krause.
Coverage of our Scarlet Hawks athletics on Milford TV is brought to you by the following sponsors. Our presenting sponsor, the Rail Trail Flatbread Company, a casual American dining experience with locations in Hudson and on Main Street here in Milford. Rentschler Biopharma, sponsor of our broadcast booth. Rentschler Biopharma transforms innovative ideas into life-saving biopharmaceuticals. Rentschler Biopharma, reliability you can trust. And Unibank, big bank know-how, community bank attitude. Serving the Milford community at their local branch on Prospect Street inside the Shaw's Plaza.
Eric Cormier, Derek Johnson, and Scott Paluga. The game day coordinator is Brett Crosby. Player assistant Joey McGee, and the bench assistant Doug Wilkie. welcome them. Legion Ball Club.
Hey, just bring a guy. It's like I got a kid. Don't go down the street when there's a car coming around.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to historic Pheno Field. Tonight, on behalf of the Milford Legion Baseball Board of Directors, we pay special tribute to our alumni. The men standing here with me have all worn the Milford uniform and contributed to this long and storied tradition. Our record of 3 national championship bids, 11 state titles, and 32 zone championships speaks volumes. But as we all know in Milford, it's beyond baseball. Because of the 1,000+ alumni who contributed to this respected team, we stand proud as they've modeled respect, teamwork, loyalty, sportsmanship, courage, fair play, and so much more. I am humbled and honored to be associated with Milford Legion Baseball because of their contributions to this impressive program. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in recognizing these men who've paved the way and are helping preserve this amazing 96-year legacy.
Gotta go like in.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand if you can and remove your caps for the singing of our national anthem, which will be sung tonight by none other than our Legion alum, Eli Sylvia, played from 2021 through 2024. He just completed his freshman year at Berklee College of Music. Eli, would you do us this honor?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous
Legion World Series in Denver, Colorado, where he batted .500. He did not return to the 1953 team as they made a return trip to the World Series in Miami, as he had signed a pro contract at the time with the Philadelphia Athletics after graduating Milford High School. But there's more. Catching tonight is Joey's great-great-nephew, Paul Alves, a member of the Wareham Legion Post 220. Paul is a recent grad of Nauset High School and will carry on the Alves baseball legacy at Piedmont College in Georgia. Joey, will you do us the honor of throwing out the first pitch? Let's play ball.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome inside Pheno Field as Milford TV is happy to bring you coverage of Milford Legion Baseball presented by the Rail Trail Flatbread Company. Rail Trail Flatbread Company is a casual American dining experience specializing in an all-scratch-made kitchen featuring wood-fired flatbreads. An inviting atmosphere for the whole family to enjoy. Milford TV Executive Director Tim Coed here with you on the call. Happy to be back with you with more Legion coverage here on Milford TV. We bring it to you live from our Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth. Rentschler Biopharma is a global contract development and manufacturing organization. They specialize in biopharmaceuticals and advanced therapies. Rentschler Biopharma, reliability you can trust. It's been a little while since we've had a chance to get out here to Pheno and actually cover some baseball for you. The weather has been a bit unkind these last couple of weeks. We were very much hoping to bring you coverage of Milford's scheduled home game against Shrewsbury Post 397 last Tuesday. We were out here at the field ready to go, but unfortunately Mother Nature intervened and ended up wiping that game completely off the schedule. It's set to be made up a little bit later on in the season. We were hopeful to come out last night as well, but we're a little gun-shy after we saw more storms in the forecast. Milford was able to get last night's game in against Leominster getting last night's game in against Leominster prior to some storms rolling in a little bit later on in the evening. But Milford able to win that game decidedly, and so Milford comes into the game here tonight still with a perfect record against District 4 competition. They are 15-0 on the season in first place, and tonight they take on a team towards the bottom of those Zone 4 standings. It is Framingham, post 117. Framingham comes in 10th place in the standings. They are 3-10 overall on the year. Framingham with a new post number this season, very accustomed to Framingham being post 74, but losing their old post number, and so now post 117 effective for this season. Milford has now taken the field, so first pitch is coming up here in just a moment. So before we get to the game's first pitch, let's bring you the starting lineup, starting with Framingham post 117. Leading it off is their left fielder, Jackson Donato. The second baseman, Jace Coleman, bats second, with Connor Hammond, the third baseman, batting third. Matty Johnson is the cleanup hitter, playing first base, with the center fielder, Owen Finnegan, batting fifth. Franco Saglum-Benny is the catcher, batting sixth, with Zach DePtula, the designated hitter, batting seventh. Ben Morse is the shortstop, batting eighth, and Jacob Morse is the right fielder. He hits ninth. The starting pitcher for Framingham is Simon Nislik. We'll quickly sneak in the Milford starting lineup before baseball begins here at Pheno. Leading it off for Milford is Nick Pedroli in right field. Sean McGee plays third base and bats second, with Braden Lewis, the left fielder, batting third. Sam Schoenberg is the shortstop, batting cleanup, with Jack Krause catching tonight and batting fifth. Nick Koch plays center field and bats sixth, with Gavin Metcalf playing first base tonight, batting seventh. Sean Burchard is the designated hitter, batting eighth, and in the ninth spot, playing second base, is Dylan Ruff. And on the mound, about to make the start for Milford tonight, is the MHS alumni, Anthony LaPierre, big tall number 21 on the hill. And his first pitch is a tapper out in front of home plate. Pierre makes the play and makes the toss to first base. One pitch, and Jackson Donato is retired, 1-3 on that ground out.
Number 2, second baseman, Jace Coleman.
Jace Coleman now standing in to the batter's box. Anthony LaPierre making his fifth appearance on the pitcher's mound this season. All of those have been starts. He's thrown 18 innings and comes into tonight's action with a .78 ERA. He has been terrific. He's allowed 13 hits, 7 runs, only 2 of them earned so far on the season, as this ball is flared out to shallow left field, but in with the slide is Braden Lewis to make the catch. And Framingham not waiting around in these at-bats. Coleman also swings at the first pitch, lines out to shallow left field, and quickly there are 2 outs in the inning. So we finish up the stat line for LaPierre. He's allowed just 6 walks through those 18 innings pitched. He has struck out 23 batters. He has a 1.06 whip, and opposing batters hitting just 186 against Anthony LaPierre. He has been very, very good for a Milford pitching staff that has been top-notch all the way around. Oh, one pitch now. And it's a count of 1 ball and 1 strike on Connor Hammond. Deciding to take a look at a couple of pitches here out of the hand of LaPierre after his first 2 teammates swung at the first pitch. Now sends one on a line out to center field. Right there is Nick Koch to make the play. And it's just 5 pitches needed for Anthony LaPierre to dispatch Framingham here in the top of the first inning. So we've played half an inning. It is scoreless. Post 59 will take their first swings of the game in just a moment. We'll be back with the action next here on Milford TV. Coverage is presented by the Rail Trail Flatbread Company.
Milford in the bottom of the first inning, number 13, right fielder, Nick Pedroli.
Lights are on here at Pheno Field as we transition to the bottom half of the first inning. Nick Pedroli, Sean McGee, and Braden Lewis, the top three hitters in the Milford order, coming to the plate against the Framingham starter Simon Nislick. Milford continuing to bulldoze their way through their District 4 schedule this season. As Nislick misses with the first pitch. See if we can gather any stats for Nislick on the mound this season. Quickly a 2-ball, no strike count to Nick Pedroli. Continues to be the fixture atop this very potent Milford lineup. Swings away at this pitch and hits it on the ground to the right side. It is underneath the dive of the second baseman, Jace Coleman, and out into right field, and Pedroli is aboard with a base hit.
Now batting number 3, third baseman, Sean
So that will
McGee.
continue to add to Pedroli's solid stats. 357 with the batting average coming into the game today. That's his 21st hit now of this 2025 season. And good speed as well. Has 5 stolen bases on the season, and immediately will be checked on by Nislick. Slightly different looking Milford lineup than the previous games that we've been to this season. Sean McGee moved up to this number 2 spot. McGee 348 with the batting average as he waits to see the first pitch of his at-bat. 16 hits in 46 at-bats on the season for Sean. 4 of those have been doubles. He has a home run. He's driven in 15 runs, scored 23. And most impressive, perhaps, for McGee on the season, 16 walks to 0 strikeouts. Finally sees the first pitch of the at-bat. It's ball 1. Milford wearing an alternative uniform for the game here tonight, a light-colored camo uniform top. We had seen them in their navy jerseys for each of the previous games we had covered so far this season. Typically unveil a camo look right around the 4th of July. McGee gets into this pitch and drives it in the air deep to left field, back towards the fence. And that ball is just inside the yard. It clanks off the chain link and will be a double for McGee. He missed a home run by inches out there to left. We've been waiting for it all season long since the new fence was installed. But just shy of the chain link out there in left field, but still big contact for McGee, who has a double. Pedroli ends up going first to third, so it's 2 in scoring position for post 59 with nobody out, and Braden Lewis coming to the plate. Lewis moved to the number 3 spot in the lineup. Seen him quite a bit in that number 2 spot. But still incredible stats for Lewis on the season. A .588 batting average. Now 15 games into the season. 30 hits, which is most on the team, in 51 at-bats. 9 doubles, 2 triples, 4 home runs, 26 runs batted in. Also leads the team. And now he sends a drive out to left center field. This is deep. It stays in the yard as well, but it will score 2 runs. Here comes Pedroli to score. McGee is right behind. Lewis standing at second base with a 2-run double. Milford bringing the thunder in these last 2 at-bats. This one a little bit more towards straightaway center field, so well shy of the fence, but still good for extra bases. It drives in 2, and Milford a quick start here tonight. Their first 3 batters have all reached, the last 2 via extra base hits. And Milford with a lightning quick 2-0 lead. And now Schoenberg swings away. He lifts the ball in foul territory down the right field line. A full sprint for Jace Coleman, the second baseman, but it's out of his reach and lands for strike one. Schoenberg at .361 with the average, 22 hits on the year. He's got a trio of doubles, 3 triples as well, 21 runs batted in, which is second on the team only to Braden Lewis. He's also scored 26 runs. And now up there with a 1-ball, 1-strike count. So Milford with an ambush here in the first and looking for more, with Lewis now leading away from second base. And that pitch dives outside and low. This is the first meeting of the season between Milford and Framingham. It's the last team in the zone that Milford had not yet faced, as Schoenberg now sends one up the middle. It eludes the pitcher's glove, backed up at second base. The throw to first base is offline. It caroms off the chain link. It stays in the yard, and that allows Schoenberg to move down to second base. Lewis comes around from second base to score, and so that will give Milford a 3-0 lead. The second baseman and shortstop ended up coming together right around the second base bag. It was Coleman who made the play, but then threw wildly to first base, all the way over to the edge of the field of play where it hit off the chain link fence. And so now a 3-0 lead. Schoenberg at second base, and a big swing from Jack Krause. And so we'll take a look at how Milford scores that play on Game Changer as soon as we have a moment. I think that may be a straight E4, but we'll take a look at the official scoring as soon as we have an opportunity. As this pitch is in the dirt, gets away from the catcher, Sag Glimbeni, and Schoenberg is able to move up to third. On the passed ball. And so it looks like no hit on that play for Schoenberg. It will just be a straight E4, as now this ball is hit deep in the hole at shortstop. It's fielded there by Ben Morse. He'll throw low to first base, but does get the out there. And finally, Framingham is able to grab the first out of the inning. But in the back door from third base comes Schoenberg to score. And so it is a 4-0 Milford lead. The bases are now empty with one down. So no RBI for Schoenberg on that error play. Ends up taking third base on the pass ball and then scoring on that ground out by Krause. Ground out went 6-3. So now Nick Koch at the plate, and a conference here on the pitcher's mound. Jason Smith is the head coach for Framingham Post 117, and of course, Coach Smith has done a great job. He has been with this program for many years, but it's hard to think about Framingham and not think about their longtime head coach, Bunky Smith, who was such a fixture in District 4 for many, many seasons, was a big presence in high school athletics as well, was such a big personality, such a fun guy to be around during the Legion seasons. At times was quite fiery, and unfortunately we lost Coach Smith a couple of seasons ago, and his memory is still very fresh in the minds of folks who are around District 4. Meanwhile, a 2-ball, no-strike count on Koch, who is at the plate with the bases empty. One down here in the bottom of the first inning. Already a 4-0 Milford lead. As the pitch comes in for a called strike. Let's bring you the defense here for Framingham post 117. Behind the dish is Franco Saglimbeni. At third base, Connor Hammond. Shortstop is Ben Morse. Second base, Jace Coleman. And at first base, Matty Johnson. Left to right in the outfield, Jackson Donato, Owen Finnegan, and Jacob Morse. All behind the starting pitcher, Simon Nislik, who deals a 3-1 pitch to the plate. And it's on the corner for strike two. Already 21 pitches thrown for Nislik so far in this first inning. He has just one out. Meanwhile, Anthony LaPierre needed just 5 pitches to get out of the top half of this first inning. Nislik comes back and gets a strikeout of Koch. It's his first K of the game. And so now here is the 7th Milford batter to come to the plate this inning, Gavin Metcalf. He takes a pitch outside for ball 1. I believe they played a Legion All-Star game earlier this week in which Gavin Metcalf was a participant. Gavin Metcalf and Josh Jankola participating in that All-Star game, as this time Metcalf sends a fly ball to the outfield, but the center fielder Owen Finnegan is able to make the catch for the out that ends the inning. But Milford able to start off hot. Their first 4 batters reach. All 4 of them come around to score. And after 1 inning of play, it is Milford with a 4-0 lead on top of Framingham. As we bring you this coverage live from our Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth, and our presenting sponsor of Milford Legion Baseball here on Milford TV is the Rail Trail Flatbread Company.
With Milford leading by a score of 4-0 at the top of the second inning. Leading off for Framingham, number 19, first baseman, Matty Johansson.
Hey, Matty!
Top of the second inning now here at Pheno Field. Milford with a quick 4-0 lead. LaPierre back on the mound again. First pitch swinging here for Framingham, and this ball is a fair one down the left field line and kicks off the glove of Braden Lewis and goes all the way into the extreme left field corner. And so Matty Johnson is quickly aboard at second base. It ended up being a whiff for Lewis as he raced across the foul line to try to cut that ball off. It ended up getting under his glove and rolled all the way into the corner in foul territory, just stayed on the playing surface. And so once again, Framingham swinging at the first pitch. This time Johnson able to tuck it just inside fair territory down the left field line, and so he's aboard with a leadoff double. Now Owen Finnegan at the dish. Framingham in the midst of a rough stretch of the season where offense has really been at a premium. They come into the game tonight having lost 4 consecutive games, and in all 4 of those contests, they have scored 1 run or less. Their one win in recent weeks came back on June 25th. It was a 6-4 win over Northborough. Outside of that game, overall, in 7 out of their last 8 games, Framingham has scored 2 runs or fewer. So offense has been really hard to come by for post 117 as Finnegan sends this ball on the ground to third base. Nice job by McGee to look that runner back to second before firing onto first to get the out there, as Finnegan is retired 5-3 on the ground out.
The catcher, Franco Saglambeni.
So 1 out now with that runner remaining at second base, with the catcher Franco Saglambeni now coming to the plate. And another first pitch swing as this ball is fair. It ticks off the fingertips of McGee's glove. Johnson had to hold up at second base, not sure if McGee would come up with that ball on the backhand. So again, Framingham's able to send it down the line on the left side, and just sneaking it past McGee's reach. Would think that would go as a hit for Saglambeni. So second hit in the inning for post 117. They now have runners at the corners with 1 out. And their number 7 hitter, Zach Deptula, at the plate. He sends one softly on the ground to second. They throw to second base out there. The return throw to first is in time. 4-6-3. Milford turns the inning-ending double play, and Framingham fails to score. So a promising looking inning there, but Deptula sends one on the ground to second base, and Dylan Ruff starts the 4-6-3 inning-ending double play. Outstanding defense in the end there for Milford to keep Framingham scoreless. We've played an inning and a half now here at Pheno Field. It remains 4-0 in favor of Milford. Stay tuned to the coverage here on Milford TV. It's presented by Rail Trail.
Also, my teammates in the press booth tonight are Brett and Joe. They are doing live play-by-play on 101.3 My FM and 1490 on your radio dial. WMRC has been broadcasting Milford Legion Baseball since 1955. Milford Legion Baseball sincerely thanks you for 70 years of great support to Legion Baseball and the town of Milford. You can support the Milford Legion Baseball Club by purchasing tickets to our annual raffle. First prize is $1,000, second prize is $500, and third and fourth prize is $250. The drawing will take place at our annual team banquet in August, and you do not have to be present to win. A book of 6 tickets is $20 and can be purchased at the concession stand, as well as our 50-50 raffle. Thank you for supporting Milford Legion Baseball. With Milford leading by a score of 4-0 in the bottom of the second inning. Leading off, number 14, designated hitter, Sean Burchard.
It's a 4-0 lead for post 59 as they return to the plate in the home half of the second inning. Simon Nislik out for his second inning of work, Deals in a first pitch strike to Sean Burchard. 8, 9, and 1 hitters coming up for Milford. Burchard sends a ground ball to first base right into the glove of Matty Johnson, who will step on the first base bag unassisted to get the out there. 1 up and 1 down. Large contingent of fans out here for the game tonight as Milford celebrates Alumni Night here at Pheno Field. We saw a nice pregame ceremony honoring many of the Legion alums in attendance. As Ruff now sends a line drive up the middle, and it's snagged in the air by Ben Morse. A rangy play, stuck his glove out in the end and was able to hang on. Hard contact off the bat of Ruff, but Morse was ready for it. You can see Morse with a pretty heavy brace on that right knee, but was still able to cover a lot of ground to make a nice catch. And it's 2 up and 2 down here in the second. Now swinging at the first pitch, Pedroli fouls it away out of play. We saw alumni representing eras of Legion baseball going all the way back to the 50s, up to the last couple of seasons. So good to see all of the representation from the alumni. Nice rebound inning, meanwhile, here for Simon Nislik as he's able to retire Burchard, Ruff, and Pedroli 1, 2, 3. And that concludes things here in the bottom of the second inning. Still a 4-0 lead for Milford. We'll move on to the third inning when we return next on this coverage of Milford Legion baseball. It's right here on Milford TV.
For shortstop, Ben Morse.
We saw Ben Morse make a nice play defensively in the bottom half of the second. He leads things off here for Framingham in the top of the third, with Milford leading Framingham 4-0. Anthony LaPierre deals in a strike to even the count at 1. Now a 2-ball, 1-strike count. According to the stats on Game Changer, this is just the 4th game in which Ben Morse has appeared this season. Perhaps it's related to that brace he's wearing on the right knee, maybe limiting his availability. About to see a 2-2 pitch now. That's at the knees, but maybe a little bit inside. Close pitch does not go LaPierre's way, and it's a full count now. Morse swings away at that pitch and loops it foul to stay alive. No hits through the limited action for Ben Morse this season, but he has walked 3 times. Now swings at this pitch, sends it on the ground up the middle, waiting for it. Schoenberg sets his feet, throws to first base, and it's dug out on the back end by Gavin Metcalf for out number 1 in this top half of the 3rd inning. Defensively for Milford Post 59, it is Sean McGee at 3rd base, Sam Schoenberg at short, Dylan Ruff at 2nd, Gavin Metcalf at 1st, Jack Krause behind the dish, and left to right in the outfield, Braden Lewis, Nick Koch, and Nick Pedroli. 1 out, and the base is empty as LaPierre tosses in his 20th pitch, and it's a called strike 1 to the number 9 hitter, Jacob Morse. Another ground ball to the shortstop. This time it explodes on Schoenberg. He tried to play it on the backhand, did not get it cleanly into the glove, and Morse will reach on the E6.
Now at the plate, number 3, the left fielder, Jackson.
So that will turn the lineup over. Jackson Donato now up for the 2nd time. Framingham had some traffic on the bases last inning. They had 2 hits, including a double, but failed to score. They ended up hitting into an inning-ending double play. So now, runner at first base with 1 down, and a pitch yanked outside for ball 1. Keith Lee not in the lineup tonight. We saw him taking batting practice. So Jack Krause behind the dish for this one. We typically see Lee in the lineup and at that catcher position, especially when one of his former Milford teammates is on the mound. So LaPierre working with a different battery mate here tonight. Was not an issue in the 1st inning where LaPierre breezed through on just 5 pitches, but has had to work a little bit in the last 2. Now falls behind Donato, 2 balls and no strikes. Pitch now is a bouncer foul and grabbed on a hop by Coach Smith. That had some heat on it, and Coach Smith used 2 hands to make a nice clean play. Drawing some ooze from his players in the 3rd base dugout. 2-1 pitch now as the runner from first base takes off. It's hit deep in the hole at short. Schoenberg able to hang on to it, sends a throw off balance to first base way late. Schoenberg fortunate that throw was on target, really had no chance at getting Donato at first base. That was way too slow developing. Tried almost that Derek Jeter signature fadeaway throw to first base. So it'll go as an infield single for Donato. And so another 2 hits here for Framingham. Morse, who was on the move with the pitch, safely down to second base. Now here's a ball hit up the middle. Another chance at a double play. Schoenberg touches second base himself. The throw on to first is not in time. So no inning-ending double play this time around.
Coming to the plate, number 22, third baseman, Connor Hammond.
Sort of a judgment call there for Schoenberg, whether to flip to Ruff covering the second base bag or take that ball to the bag himself. He elected to do the latter. Ruff had to kind of jackknife himself out of the way to not collide with Schoenberg, and ended up slowing the play down just long enough to allow Jace Coleman to reach at first base on the fielder's choice. Donato erased from the equation at second base, so it's now runners at the corners. Morse able to move up to third, Coleman at first, And a little conversation here. I saw Schoenberg gesturing after the play. I'm not sure if maybe he's trying to make the case that there was some interference on Donato's part that caused Schoenberg to not get the throw over to first base in time. Coach DeVito taking up the argument as well, but to no avail as he returns to the first base dugout. The two umpires retake their positions. So indeed it will be a force out at second base for Donato. Coleman safe at first on the fielder's choice. So runners at the corners for the number 3 hitter, Connor Hammond, who lined out to center field his first time up. And he takes a pitch low for ball 1. And now a little half swing cues this ball out in front of the pitcher's mound. And LaPierre able to get to it and throw to first to get the out that ends the inning. Frustration for Hammond as he tried to pull that bat back, but ended up making contact and sent that ball out for an easy ground out to end the inning. So once again, Framingham able to get a couple of runners on base, but they cannot score. And we will head on to the bottom half of inning number 3 with the score unchanged. Milford 4, Framingham nothing on this coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on Milford TV, presented by the Rail Trail Flatbread Company.
Worthy Insurance Agency, the Red Sox Foundation, Sergeant John W. Powers, Post 59, Science Plus, Sons of Italy Dramatic Sportsman Club, and Unibank. Also our gold sponsors: Blooming Hearts Roastery Cafe, Boucher Energy Systems, Butters House, Clark, Consigli and Picado PC, Milford Federal Savings Bank, Milford Permanent Firefighters, RH Lawn Cadillac, Stulac Marketing, and The Gym. Thank you for supporting Milford Legion Baseball. With Milford leading by a score of 4-0 in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Leading off, number 3, third baseman, Sean McGee.
Sean McGee to lead off the bottom of the 3rd inning for Post 59, leading this game 4-0. Nislik back on the hill for Framingham and deals a first pitch strike into McGee. We bring you this action live from our Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth together with their partners. Rentschler Biopharma transforms innovative ideas into life-saving biopharmaceuticals. Rentschler Biopharma, reliability you can trust. 1 ball and 1 strike on Sean. Nearly hit one out beyond the left field fence his first time up. It just stayed inside the ballpark and instead went as a double. later come around to score as part of that 4-run first inning. And now ahead in the count, 3 balls and 1 strike. A lot of the alumni all perched down the right field side in front of the concession stand to take in this game tonight. A lot of fans behind home plate as well. Here's the 3-1 pitch. McGee goes after it and loops it foul over towards the third base side. Full count now on McGee. And kind of a gray cloud cover overhead for the majority of the time we've been at the ballpark here this afternoon into this evening. A few peaks of sun, but the sun nearly gone now as we get towards 8 o'clock. Here's McGee with another hard shot to the outfield, this time towards the center fielder Owen Finnegan, who has it sized up and is able to make the catch for out number 1 here in the third.
That brings up number 7, the left fielder, Braden Lewis.
So Nislik has settled down here. He ended up allowing hits to the first 3 batters he faced. Then his defense let him down a little bit in that first inning as well with the error at second base that helped Milford continue to score, as now Lewis sends one in the air out to center field. Another chance for Finnegan, who was able to take care of out number 2.
Coming to the plate, number 17, the shortstop.
But overall now, it's all of a sudden 8 in a row retired by Finnegan. Bases are empty now with 2 outs in this third inning. Schoenberg at the plate. And he takes a pitch that just narrowly misses for ball 1. Nislik has, coming into play today, I should say, Nislik has thrown 15 2/3 innings. This is his 4th start of the season. Came into play tonight with a 1-1 record. Had allowed, through his first 3 starts, 20 hits, 10 runs, all of them earned, 3 walks, 5 Ks, a 4.47 ERA. He's fallen behind Schoenberg 3-0, and he'll get another visit here from Coach Smith. Interesting timing for a mound visit with the bases empty and 2 outs. Schoenberg now leans on the bat. As the conversation continues here between the Framingham head coach, starting pitcher Simon Nislik, and the catcher Franco Saglimbeni also in on the conversation. Little conversation now between Schoenberg and the home plate umpire, perhaps reliving that play at second base where Milford felt there was some interference that was not called. Schoenberg settles back into the box now. The 3-0 pitch is taken for a strike. One now from Nislik. Schoenberg goes after it, pops it up in foul territory behind first base, and Johnson is there to make the catch. And it's a second straight 1-2-3 inning for Nislik, who again has settled into a nice groove, pitching to contact, and has suddenly silenced these hot Milford bats. So we've played 3 now from Fino, 4-0 Milford on top of Framingham on this coverage of Milford Legion baseball here on Milford TV. It's presented by Rail Trail.
top of the fourth inning, number 19, first baseman, Maddie Johansson.
Framingham first baseman coming to the plate here to start this top of the fourth inning, and my apologies, it is Maddie Johansson. Not Johnson, so for all the Framingham fans streaming the coverage tonight, you can stop yelling at your device. My apologies for that pronunciation error. Johansson making the final out in the bottom of the third inning, catching that foul pop-up off of Schoenberg's bat. This looked like it could very well turn into another Milford blowout with how that bottom of the first inning got started, but you've really got to credit Simon Nislik, starting pitcher for Framingham, for settling things down and has really quieted Milford over these last few innings. Meanwhile, his teammates in the lineup have threatened against Anthony LaPierre the last couple of innings. They've stranded 3 runners over the last 2. Also had a double play take the wind out of their sails in the second inning, so it's kept it a 4-0 margin. 3-2 pitch now to Johansson is grounded foul right over to his teammates in the Framingham dugout. Another payoff pitch. It's popped up and foul ground. Kraus gives it a look, but that goes over the backstop and narrowly avoids some fans in the stands over on the first base side. Took a hard hop off the bleachers. And we'll reset once again at 3 balls and 2 strikes. 35 pitches now in the outing so far for Anthony LaPierre. Nods his approval to the sign from Kraus. And the pitch up and in for ball 4. So Johansson works the walk. It is the first walk for either side tonight.
The center fielder, Owen Finnegan.
Second inning tonight that Framingham's been able to put the leadoff runner on base. And now here is Owen Finnegan, 0 for 1 tonight with a ground out to third base. Swings away at the first pitch and sends it foul and out of play. Pretty comfortable conditions, all things considered, here at the ballpark tonight. Keeping our fingers crossed that we won't have any passing showers. We know that there are some a little further west of us. One pitch drops in for a strike, like a breaking ball from LaPierre. We did not come out for the game last night with the stronger threat of thunderstorms. Again, the team's got that game in, but it was hot and humid conditions with a feels-like temperature well into the 90s for much of that game, as LaPierre gets the swing and a miss, and Finnegan strikes out. It's the first K tonight for Anthony.
Number 17, the catcher, Franco Sacramenti.
Time! One more word and someone's going.
Meanwhile, a very stern warning
Shut him down.
over in the third base dugout.
You're not going to scream across at the kids. You got a problem, you see me. Understand? That's what we do. Humans. I'll talk to my
Let's
team.
play.
I got
Let's play.
time, Blue. Time. I have time. Time.
And so some tense exchange here. It started with the home plate umpire shouting over into the third base dugout, threatening an ejection. Coach Smith over in the third base coach's box, then imploring the umpire to talk to him rather than the players in the dugout, and he'll handle it, and resulting in another interesting exchange. So in the midst of it, Franco Saglambeni with a base hit past the reach of McGee at third base.
Number 7, the designated hitter, Zach Deptula.
Not quite sure what there was for Framingham to complain about in the third base dugout after a swinging strikeout from Finnegan. But regardless, after the hit for Saglambeni, it's now runners at first and second base with one out in the inning. So again, multiple runners on base here for LaPierre, who after a 5-pitch first inning is now up to 40 pitches here with only one out in the fourth. Zach Deptula at the plate. No balls and one strike for the Framingham designated hitter, who bounced into an inning-ending double play his first time up. So it's the second time he's come up with a couple of runners on base. Nice pitch from LaPierre to jump ahead, 0-2. Johansson leading away from second, Saglambeni from first. Schoenberg creeping in behind the runner at second base. The 0-2 pitch is lifted down the right field side, but that is a foul ball. Pedroli gave it a look, but that was not close to within his reach. Game reaching the 60-minute mark as the church bells off in the distance chime out 8 p.m. Another 0-2 pitch now, and it's hit on the ground softly to shortstop. No chance for a double play this time. Instead, Schoenberg will send it on to first. The throw not in time. It's been a tricky night for Schoenberg at shortstop. He's had a lot of slow ground balls, a lot of choppy plays over there. Did everything right on that play, put a charge on the ball, got a good strong throw to first base, but credit Deptula for busting it down the line. He is safe on the infield base hit, and all of a sudden now Framingham has the bases loaded with one out. They bring the tying run to the plate, and Ben Morse. So we talked about the stats for LaPierre coming into this game. 23 strikeouts in 18 innings. He only has 1 K so far tonight, so hasn't really had that put-away pitch like we've seen in his previous outings. And now falls behind Morse here, 2 balls and no strikes. Ben Morse, the number 8 hitter, grounded out to shortstop his first time up, and is in the driver's seat now at 3 balls and no strikes, and Kraus will hand deliver the baseball back to talk things over here with LaPierre. And so again, we talked about it. LaPierre typically throwing to Keith Lee, but Lee not in the game tonight. Didn't have a chance to check in with Coach DeVito to see if there's any potential injury there. We did see Lee swinging in the batting cage during batting practice. So nowhere to put Morse here. The 3-0 pitch, and it's on the outside corner for a strike. Batter taking that step towards first, trying to buy the call. So it's 3-1. Ben Morse at the plate, Jacob Morse on deck. Framingham threatening. Here's the 3-1 pitch. It's up and in for ball 4, and LaPierre is going to walk in a run. Second walk of the inning. Johansson, who walked, forced in from third base on the free pass to Ben Morse. Everyone else moves up, so now it's Saglambeni at third, Deptula at second, Ben Morse at first, and a conference now on the pitcher's mound, with LaPierre suddenly laboring in this inning. So it's 4-1. Framingham now out hitting Milford 4-3.
Fielder Jacob Morse.
The left-hander Jacob Morse now digs in at the plate. The number 9 hitter, he reached on an error last inning. Now shows bunt, drops it out in front of the plate. A bobble for LaPierre. He's not going to get it out anywhere, and Saglin Benny scores to make it 4-2. So Framingham really taking a chance there. It was a bunt right out in front of the plate. It should have been a pretty easy shovel for LaPierre to Kraus to get the forced play at home plate, but he just could not get a clean handle on the baseball, and then tried to spin around to get at least an out at first base, but could not do that either. So everyone's safe. A bunt base hit, and now this one sent out into left field. Another run will come home. An RBI single for Jackson Donato, and just like that, it's a one-run game.
Now batting number 2, second baseman.
All the momentum has suddenly shifted in this game. And Framingham, who had been frustrated in the last couple of innings, getting a lot of runners on, they load the bases here in this inning, and they have cashed in so far 3 runs. And there is still just 1 out in the inning. Jace Coleman now at the plate. LaPierre up to 51 pitches now. Right now the bullpen is quiet as this ball is hit on the ground to first base. The only out for Milford is at first. In the back door from third base comes Ben Morse. He scores. And it's a brand new ball game here, tied up at 4.
Now batting number 22, third baseman Connor Hammond.
So Coleman gets an RBI on the ground out to first. And meanwhile, the 9th batter in the Framingham order will come to the plate, Connor Hammond. He bats with runners at second and third with 2 down. And he'll lift a pitch in the air out to left center field. It's going to drop in for a base hit. And 2 runs are going to cross the plate here for Framingham as that ball drops in the Bermuda Triangle out in shallow left center field in between Lewis, Koch, and Schoenberg. Morse and Donato both score. It's a 2-run single for Connor Hammond, and all of a sudden Framingham with a 6th spot in this inning. They have now taken the lead. It's 6-4 Framingham. Foul ball now sent out of play off the bat of Matty Johansson, who started this inning with a walk. Came around to score. We have not seen many innings like this for Milford pitchers at any point this season. Milford fans shell-shocked here as Johansson sends a sky-high pop-up right to the edge of the field of play behind home plate. Kraus is able to make the catch for the out that finally brings an end to this inning, but not before Framingham sends 10 batters to the plate. They score 6 times in this 4th inning, and this game goes from a 4-0 Milford lead to a 6-4 Framingham lead. A shocking turn of events here at Pheno. We will move on to the bottom half of the 4th inning next here on Milford TV.
shouldn't come down here.
Ladies and gentlemen, check out your yellow Split the Pot raffle tickets. The winning number is 267006.
Buddy Sirocco's got like 50
Repeating,
tickets. Buddy Sirocco's got like 50 tickets on it.
267-006. Please go to the concession stand to collect your winnings.
Sirocco last week. He says, hey, where's the postman?
Milford Legion Baseball would like to thank
Talking about the...
Blue Partners, Bright Insurance Agency, Jensen Sheen Insurance, Easy Way Car Wash, Garrier and Howland, Massachusetts Real Estate Group, Middlesex Savings Bank, Oliva's Market, Photo Fabrication Engineering, Pins, West Street Auto Light, Whitesville Monument Works, and VEK Hauling and Cleanup. Thank you for supporting Milford Legion Baseball.
Lenny, 2 for 2. Nice. They knocked it around with their head. 2-0.
Leading off the Milford in the bottom of the fourth inning, number 2, catcher Jack Krause.
Post 59 immediately starting to get loud in the first base dugout as Framingham has come roaring back in this game from down 4-0. They take a 6-4 lead after scoring 6 times in the top half of this fourth inning. All 6 runs earned. And so for Anthony LaPierre, who had only given up 2 earned runs all season, gives up 6 earned runs in just 1 inning. And so perhaps Franklin finally letting their frustrations out offensively. We talked about it at the start of the broadcast. Mired in a 4-game losing streak where they've scored 1 run or less in each of those 4 games. Offense has been bottled up and finally coming to life here in this 4th inning to the tune of 6 runs. Meanwhile, Milford has not had a base runner since they completed that 4-run rally in the bottom half of the first inning. Nislik, after letting the first 4 batters reach, retired the next 3 in that first inning and has not allowed a base runner until now. The last thing you want to do after your team comes back to score 6 times is allow a leadoff walk. That's exactly what happens here as Krause walks to open up this 4th inning. And so I should say there is a new pitcher on the mound here for Framingham, so Nislik's day is done. Perhaps on a pitch count, it's surprising that they would lift Nislik after he had really settled the game down, but he departs here. He's replaced by Charlie Jessman. So Jessman walks the first batter he faces. And a 2-ball, no strike count now to Nick Koch. Left-handed reliever finally finds the strike zone. The count goes to 2-1 on Koch, who is 0 for 1 with a strikeout. The only strikeout in the 3 innings of work today for Nislik. Pitch misses outside. You like to hear the energy out of the Milford dugout. Again, it has been very rare this season that Milford has trailed in any of the games that they've played in. So this is in many ways uncharted territory as Koch now drives the ball out to right field. This is deep. Right fielder spinning around. That's going to get over his head and travel towards the fence. Extra bases for Koch. They will hold Krause up at third base. It's a double for Nick Koch. And so the Milford offense now springing back to life.
Now at the plate, number 16, first baseman, Gavin Metcalf.
And so again, it really makes you wonder about the pitching change. Again, it could just be logistical. Perhaps Nislik was on a strict pitch count, but he had retired 9 batters in a row, and now all of a sudden Jessman comes into the game. It's a walk and a double, and Milford has the tying runs in scoring position ahead of Gavin Metcalf. The Milford bench now screaming out of that dugout as Metcalf sends a little soft ground ball towards the pitcher's mound. Jessman looking the runners back to their respective bases before getting the out at first base. And there's 1 out now in the inning. Metcalf now 0 for 2.
Now batting number 14, the designated hitter, Sean Bouchard.
When I'll send this to you, no matter what, just because they do some different stuff.
Burchard grounded out to first base, his first time up. Timeout granted to Saglin-Benny, the catcher, who hand delivers the baseball back to the pitcher's mound. Jessman brought in here in a stretch of the lineup. It's a little bit more left-handed heavy for Milford. Just gave up the double to the lefty Koch, and now dealing with the left-handed swinging Sean Burchard. Deals in a strike to level the count at 1-1. Two ball, 1 strike count. And now Burchard sends a ground ball. That's going to scoot right to the edge of the outfield grass. No play for the shortstop as a run comes in to score. Kraus crosses the plate. Koch able to safely advance to third on what will be an RBI infield base hit for Burchard to make it 6-5. So Milford cuts it back down to a 1-run game, the tying run at third base, as ball 1 is issued to the number 9 hitter Dylan Ruff, who hit one hard his first time up. But Ben Morse made a nice lunging catch at shortstop. Now jumps ahead in the count, 2-0. Burchard, not much of a base stealing threat at first base. He has not attempted a steal this season. As this pitch comes up and in, top of the Milford order lurking on deck. Here is the 3-0 pitch, and it's low for ball 4. A 4-pitch walk to the number 9 hitter, and it is now Milford who will have a bases loaded opportunity.
Now at the plate, number 13, the right fielder, Nick Pedroli.
Koch at third, Burchard at second. Now Ruff at first base ahead of Nick Pedroli. And before Pedroli sees a pitch, Coach Smith back out from the third base dugout. Getting some reports from my inside sources out in the Worcester area that there's some heavy rain going on out there at the moment. Hoping that that will not hold together as it makes its way further east. It's been dry conditions so far here at Pheno Field, as now the mound visit breaks up. This game was being played at a pretty crisp pace for the early innings, but Framingham with a 6-run top half of this 4th inning. Milford has now plated a run here in the bottom half and threatening for more with the bases loaded. And another lefty at the plate as this pitch comes inside. It's going to Nick Pedroli. No pun intended. Pedroli will head down to first base. It forces in a run as Koch scores. And so this game is tied up once again now at 6 apiece. More importantly, the bases are reloaded for Sean McGee. Some dangerous hitters now coming up for post 59. And now this pitch bounces in. It's going to glance off to the backstop. Richard will cross the plate. A hit by pitch, and now a wild pitch gives Milford the lead right back, and now it is 7-6. Everyone else moves up a base, so now Ruff is your lead runner at third, with Pedroli down to second base, and Coach Smith back out of the dugout. So again, unclear as to what prompted the pitching change for this inning, but Jessman has not been up to the task, and he will not be able to escape this fourth inning. And Coach Smith will utilize a third pitcher overall on the evening, so Jessman departs. Patrick Duffy will be the new arm for Framingham. He'll inherit a bases loaded, one out jam.
Now pitching for Framingham, number 15, Patrick Duffy.
He said no. Give me something to do for a while. There we go. There we go. Thanks, Coach.
So for both teams, the leadoff walk really helping to prompt a rally. It was LaPierre with a leadoff walk to Matty Johansson in the top half of the inning, and ultimately Framingham able to put together a 6-run rally, briefly taking a 2-run lead in this game. But Milford with a leadoff walk for Jack Krause in the bottom half of this inning, and so far it's been 3 runs quickly in response for Milford to retake the lead. And so meanwhile, as we take a look through the schedule and results for Milford this season, and again, it's been all victories through their Zone 4 competition. Prior to this game tonight, the most runs that any other team had scored against Milford all year was 5 runs. That was Northborough back on June 17th. More on that in a moment as this ball is hit on the ground to shortstop. The throw is not handled by the first baseman, and Milford is going to take the opportunity to score 2 more runs on a ball that does not leave the infield. And it is now a 9-6 lead for post 59.
Now batting number 7, the left fielder, Braden Lewis.
So I would think that will go in the books as an infield single for McGee. And then a throwing error that ultimately leads to 2 more runs crossing the plate. And now Braden Lewis, a little bit with some visible frustration as he gets hit by the pitch.
Now batting number 17, the shortstop, Sam Schoenberg.
So Ruff and Pedroli ended up coming around to score on that ground ball play.
Hey, now we battle with two. Now we battle. Let's go. Get up on it. Let's go. Get up on it. Find a way. Find a way. What's that?
Which we'll put in the books as a hit and an E4 to give Framingham their second error of the night. Schoenberg with a swing and a miss, and Sean McGee with a steal of third base. He got in there standing up, got such a good jump.
That brings up number 2, catcher Jack Krause.
Meanwhile, Jack Krause now at the plate. On the walk, after the walk to Schoenberg.
Action at 495.
Going to have coffee.
71. 71.
Give him a call. They'll probably pick you up something, you know.
Pitch to Krause in for a strike. It is a 9-6 lead for Milford now. It's been a bit of a struggle to keep up with the scorecard. So I beg your pardon, it was a strikeout to Schoenberg, not a walk, as now Lewis takes off for second base. Framingham does not even attempt to throw. So Milford with 2 in scoring position with 2 outs in the inning. A 1-1 pitch into Krause, who can't catch up to the fastball. And the count now 1-2. One-two pitch. This is carved to the opposite field, but it will hang up long enough for Morse to move in to make the catch. That brings an end to the inning. Well, quite a response for Post 59 as they answer back, sending 10 of their own batters to the plate in the bottom half of the 4th inning. And they're able to retake the lead. It is now 9-6. Milford back in front of Framingham. We will move on to the 5th inning when we return next on this coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on Milford TV. It's presented by Rail Trail.
Leading off for Framingham, number 18, center fielder Owen Finnegan.
Well, after a lengthy fourth inning, we play on to the top half of the fifth, and a deep fly ball off the bat of Owen Finnegan that is caught by Braden Lewis. And it's one pitch for LaPierre and one out recorded in the top half of the fifth inning. So a total of 11 runs scored in that fourth inning, a sixth spot for Framingham. Milford responds with 5 runs of their own in the bottom half of the inning. So as the dust settles, it is back to a 3-run lead for post 59. Framingham scoring 6 runs on 5 hits in that fourth inning. Milford scoring 5 runs on 3 hits, as this ball is rifled over to third base, but Sean McGee is able to make the catch. Saglin-Benny is retired. 2 very fast outs in the top of the fifth inning. That will bring up Deptula. He swings at the first pitch, sends it on the ground to shortstop. Schoenberg comes up with it and fires to first base. Nice move on the run for Schoenberg to cut down Deptula, and that's about as fast of an inning as you can get. Maybe 3 pitches thrown for Anthony LaPierre. A nice shutdown inning, and so we'll move right on to the bottom of the fifth. It is still Milford 9 and Framingham 6 as we bring you the action live from our Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth. And our presenting sponsor for Legion baseball coverage here on Milford TV is the Rail Trail Flatbread Company.
Frank's Appliances, Jean's Variety, Greater Milford Social Club, John Rizzo Electric, Make Car Corporation, Medway Oil, Medway Police Department, the Murray Law Office, 99 Restaurant, Paramount Industries, Plains Automotive, Shaw's Supermarket, Lincoln Village Funeral Home, and the Worcester Red Sox and the Blue Sox Foundation, as well as Honeydew Donuts. Thank you for supporting Milford Legion Baseball.
I don't think it's a day off. I think it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think they, yeah, I don't think it's a Thursday day off. Could be wrong.
You must have good service. Mine still 2-0. I wonder if I can bet on it now.
Go ahead. You have to split it with me. Joe, you around Saturday?
No, I'll be down the Cape.
Leading off for Milford in the bottom of the fifth inning, number 6, center fielder, Nick Koch.
Milford right back to the plate, now in the bottom of the fifth inning after Anthony LaPierre came through with the speediest of shutdown innings. It's a similar inning to what he had in the first, retiring Finnegan, Saglin-Benny, and Deptula on an economy of pitches. And now Koch smokes one on the ground up the middle. That's through into center field for a base hit. Koch is now 2 for 2, a single to go along with a double that he collected last inning. I beg your pardon, 2 for 3 overall on the night. And so he's aboard to pace this bottom of the fifth inning. And so now here is Gavin Metcalf, who is the only player on either side who has not reached base tonight. He flew out to center field in the first, grounded out back to the pitcher last inning. Only player in the Milford lineup, I should say. Owen Finnegan has also failed to reach base on the Framingham side, now that I take a closer look at the scorecard. Koch with excellent speed at first base, as Metcalf jumps ahead in the count now, 2 balls and no strikes. We'll try to keep our eye on the radar as this ball is hit hard back up the middle. It's in and out of the glove of the pitcher, rolls around the second base bag. No out anywhere. Everyone's going to be safe. That ball popped in and out of Duffy's glove and then rolled slowly behind the pitcher's mound. Coleman tried to come in from second base to make a play, but there was no time. Metcalf legs out an infield single.
Coming to the plate, number 14, the designated hitter.
Koch safely down to second base, so 2 on with nobody out as Milford threatens again here in the 5th. Sean Burchard takes a look at ball 1. And now a soft toss to second base. Nobody there. The ball ends up hitting Nick Koch in the helmet. Fortunately, it was just more of a lob toss. And also, Koch fortunate that he had the head turned so that ball hit his helmet instead of getting him right in the face. No advance for the runners after, just a bizarre play. Seen some strange things unfold here in this one tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike count now for Burchard. He grounded out to first base in the 2nd inning and then drove in a run on an infield single last inning. And now Duffy misses well outside. Two balls, 1 strike, nobody out. And Milford runners aboard at first and second base. And Duffy now struggling to find the plate.
I haven't really heard much from the point.
3-1 pitch on the way. That's taken high for ball 4. So Framingham will bring the infield in all the way around as Milford has loaded the bases once again. No outs. And Dylan Ruff now standing in. No reason for Milford to swing right now as Patrick Duffy has completely lost the strike zone. Able to deal a called strike there. He's trying to take it step by step to navigate his way through this bases loaded jam.
I don't move because I feel a lot of
2 balls and a strike now.
everybody's up here. I said, sit it down. They thought Thunder would get the house.
Now Ruff swings away, loops it foul over the first base dugout and out of play. So a 2 ball, 2 strike count. Pedroli waiting on deck. Here's a 2-2 pitch to Ruff. It's high, and that will fill up the count with no space on the bases. Here is the payoff. It is up and in for ball 4. Back-to-back walks here for Duffy to the 8 and 9 hitters. It forces in a run. And Milford crosses into double digits as they take a 10-6 lead. So now with Metcalf at third, Burchard at second, and Ruff at first. We'll get the 4th plate appearance of the day for Nick Pedroli, who was hit with the bases loaded his last time up. And sees that pitch buzz inside for ball 1. Duffy with some major command issues in this inning. He is, again, the 3rd pitcher that Framingham has used in this game. 2 balls and no strikes. And now a strike. Pedroli with no inclination to swing there, trying to force Duffy to make his pitches. Takes that one outside as well, and now a 3-ball, 1-strike count. And a borderline pitch goes Duffy's way as Pedroli was ready to discard the bat. Instead, he'll hang in there with a full count. Framingham continuing to have the infield in on the lip of the grass all the way around. Here's a 3-2 pitch, and it's lined to the backstop, foul. Sean McGee will travel in from the on-deck area to collect the loose ball. 31 pitches thrown for Patrick Duffy since entering the game last inning. Here's the 3-2. It is popped up. Playable out in right field. Morse able to make the catch. Runner tags at third base. Gavin Metcalf scores. It's a sacrifice fly for Pedroli to make it 11-6 now in favor of Milford. Burchard was able to tag up and advance to third, so it's now runners at the corners for Milford. 1 out in the inning, and Sean McGee now up for the 4th time. That pitch stays high. Perhaps hearing a few rumbles of thunder off in the distance, as again, monitoring those storms approaching from the west as McGee sends a ball out to shallow left field. Framingham has to play it on a bounce as Burchard will jog across home plate with the 12th Milford run of the night. It's an RBI single for McGee. And Milford with a 6-run lead. Runners at first and second base now for post 59, and Coach Smith will pop out of the Framingham dugout once again for another visit. So again, feeling like the weather could deteriorate here. As the pace of this game has really slowed with all of the offense that's been generated in these last 2 innings. Meanwhile, Coach Smith is going to make another pitching change here, so Duffy's day is done. Looks like we'll have a couple of changes here as we see
And he's only beginning.
the DH, Zach Deptula, come out onto the field. Looks like he's going to take an outfield position. And Jacob Morse looks like he'll be coming in from right field to take over as the fourth arm utilized for Framingham. We'll take a quick pause here on the broadcast to update our scorecard and to give Morse some time to make some warm-up pitches. It is now a 12-6 lead for Milford, as we will continue on here in this bottom of the fifth inning in just a moment. Stay with the coverage here on Milford TV.
On for Framingham, number 14, Jacob Morse.
Yeah. He's at 258.
Nice.
I ain't got a hit too. Meyer. Marcello.
Reading something, they may send him down.
Hmm?
They may send him down.
Yeah.
You got to
Well, the
send
way-
Hamilton down.
The way,
Have him play second. Hamilton stinks. Huh?
You could probably release him.
Yeah.
We went to a Red Sox game a couple of weeks ago. Oh, fun. Nice park.
Pardon?
We went to a Red Sox game in Worcester.
Yeah.
Nice park.
Oh, yeah. I've been to a couple of them.
Have you been? Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah, we're right behind him.
That's the position. Good, you got two more.
Of course.
Go, Dave, our kid. Go, Bilo. Hey, Bilo. On us. Hey, one down, Dave. One down, kid. Come on, Bilo. Hey, Bilo. Let's go, let's go.
So Jacob Morse is now the fourth pitcher for Framingham tonight.
Come on, Bilo.
He inherits a couple of runners on base. And Braden Lewis at the plate, who swings at the first pitch and hits it in the air out to center field. It is caught out there by Finnegan. And so just one pitch required to record the second out. Now the eighth batter of the inning will come to the plate in the person of Sam Schoenberg. It has been a 3-run inning so far for post 59. Schoenberg trying to hold up on the swing, but he went around. Looking for his first hit tonight. He reached on an error in the first inning. Since then has popped out to first base and struck out. And looking a little bit frustrated. Might have also fouled that ball off himself as he takes a gingerly stroll around behind home plate. Coach DeVito will now come in to check on him. Might have gotten himself off the right heel. He'll hang in there as Coach DeVito gives him a pat on the back. He's down 0-2. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Morse, and that's a little bit inside. Next one on the way, and Schoenberg just makes contact to stay alive.
Head on it, Sammy, head on it. Hey, Sammy. Hey, 1-2.
3 hits for Milford in this inning, also a couple of walks, including one walk with the bases loaded. And now another 1-2 pitch. Schoenberg lets it go as it misses high. Quickly approaching the end of this 2025 regular season. As always, it goes by in a flash. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Upstairs for ball 3. Just a handful of games remaining here for Post 59. The regular season will come to an end on Monday of next week, with Milford on the road against this Framingham team. 3-2 pitch now, and it's swung on and missed. It's the second time Schoenberg has struck out tonight, and this will end the inning. Milford strands 2, but they do plate another 3 runs to take a 12-6 lead over Framingham. We'll move on to the 6th inning. Again, Milford 12, Framingham 6. As we're bringing you the action live from our Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth, coverage of Milford Legion Baseball and Milford TV is presented by the Rail Trail Flatbread Company.
12-6 in the top of the 6th inning. Leading off for Framingham, number 4, the shortstop, Ben Morse.
12 runs on 9 hits with 1 error for Milford. 6 runs on 8 hits with 2 errors for Framingham.
See you later, Jimmy.
Anthony LaPierre returns to the mound for his 6th inning of work. It's been a bit of an up and down outing for LaPierre. 4 out of his first 5 innings were very good, but things got off the rails for Anthony in that 4th inning, allowing 6 runs on 5 hits, but he bounced back last inning to set down the side in order on less than 5 pitches. And now a 1-ball, 2-strike count on Ben Morse, who last time up walked with the bases loaded. And here he takes a beautiful pitch on the inside corner for a called strike 3. Just the 2nd strikeout tonight for LaPierre.
That brings up number 14, Jacob Morse.
And so now Jacob Morse, the left-handed batter, will stand in with the bases empty and 1 down. Heard a couple of rumbles of thunder in the distance. Just keeping our fingers crossed that the raindrops will hold off. It will not be the case tomorrow. Some widespread rain expected across much of the state tomorrow. Still dealing with a lot of tropical moisture due to the remnants of the hurricane that passed by earlier this week. 2 balls and no strikes on Jacob Morse. takes a strike. Morse reached on an error in the third inning and then had that bunt base hit with the bases loaded in the fourth inning. LaPierre just could not make a clean play on it to get an out either at the plate or at first base. A little bit of a gutsy play for Morse that paid off for him. So he's been on base both times he's come to the plate. Now dealing with a 2-ball, 2-strike count. LaPierre and Kraus can't get on the same page, so they go through the signs again. And now the 2-2 offering, it's down in the dirt. There is some action now in the Milford bullpen as Kraus will come wandering out halfway to the pitcher's mound to have a couple of words with LaPierre. Again, these two, as we've talked about, have not worked a whole lot together. And so it has looked like at times they have not always been on the same page. Here's the payoff pitch, and it's a line drive sinking quickly out into left field. Does he hold on to it? Yes, he does. Braden Lewis got a great jump on that ball, went into a dive. It was tough to tell if he trapped that ball or if he caught it in the air, but the umpires make the out call, and Lewis with an outstanding diving play. Those shallow sinking line drives a lot of times can be the hardest balls to make a play on in this Pheno outfield with all of the space, but Lewis with good speed able to make a good play. Now this ball is hit on a bounce over to first base. Metcalf takes it to the bag unassisted as Donato grounds out on one pitch, and it's another 1-2-3 inning for Anthony LaPierre. That will send us right on to the bottom half of the sixth inning, where it remains Milford 12 and Framingham 6 on this coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on Milford TV. It's presented by Rail Trail.
Celebrate Milford, Central Mass Ball Club, Home Field Credit Union, and Rail Trail Flatbread. Also, its platinum partners, Imperial Cars, Pepperoncinis, Shooting Star Photography, Wiley and Julian Oil Services, and Milford Lions Club. Thank you for supporting Milford Legion Baseball.
You want to catch it?
Yeah.
Hey, good luck being back there now.
I don't want to get it wet.
First pitch into Jack Krause goes right to the backstop as we return for the bottom half of the 6th inning. And so meanwhile, Framingham has now utilized their 5th pitcher of the game. It is number 6, Nate Wang, who gets a pop-up off the bat of Krause that is dropped out in shallow center field.
That brings up number 6, Nick Coke.
So meanwhile, in addition to Nate Wang coming into the game on the mound, some changes on the infield that immediately had an impact on that play. Jace Coleman slides from second base to shortstop. Carlos Morales comes into the game off the bench to take over at second base and could not squeeze that shallow pop-up. The outfield alignment is back to the original alignment of Donato in left, Finnegan in center, and Jacob Morse, who had come in to pitch the final 2/3 of last inning, now returns to his post in right field. So Framingham with their 3rd error of the game to allow Krause to reach, and now Koch on base as well. 2 on with nobody out. Hit by pitch sends Koch down to first base. So now Metcalf, he swings at the first pitch, lines it out to right center field. That is down for a base hit. They will hold Krause at third base.
Now batting number 14, Sean Burchard.
And meanwhile, it's becoming old hat here for Milford in this game. Once again, they have the bases loaded. Krause at third, Koch at second, Metcalf at first, and now Burchard to the plate for the 4th time. Breeze starting to pick up here around the ballpark. The best pitching for Framingham in this game was the starting pitcher, Simon Nislik. Got hit hard in the first few batters of the game, but then was able to find a groove, but was lifted after just 3 innings. And it has been a real struggle for Coach Smith ever since. Charlie Jessman lasted a 1/3 of an inning of relief for Patrick Duffy, 2/3 of relief for Jacob Morse, and now Nate Wang on here in the 6th, and has loaded the bases on an error, a hit by pitch, and a single, and has now gone to a 3-ball, no-strike count to Burchard with nowhere to put him. Burchard taking all the way, taking a called strike 1. And that pitch misses upstairs for ball 4. And once again, Framingham walks in a run. Krause crosses the plate to make it 13-6. And Coach Smith, who has been wearing out a path from the third base dugout to the pitcher's mound, out once again. As Dylan Ruff waits to step into the batter's box. The frustrating part of it for Framingham in this current 4-game losing streak, especially in the last 2 games, They allowed just 3 runs to North County in a 3-1 loss back on Tuesday of last week, and then lost a 2-1 game to Northborough just yesterday. So they had been pitching well in their last 2 with nothing to show for it. But it's been a different story here tonight. On a night where their offense found a groove in the 4th inning. They were able to take a very brief 2-run lead. But Milford has scored 7 unanswered runs since then. Beg your pardon, 9 unanswered runs for Milford to take a 7-run lead. It's a quick 2-ball, no strike count to Ruff, who's walked his last 2 times he has come to the plate. Lifts a foul ball out of play here to bring the count to 2-1. Bases full of Milford runners. Just been a familiar occurrence in these last few innings. Ruff fooled badly on that pitch. Goes after it down in the dirt. And so the count even now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And now that one in for a called strike 3. Ruff knew it. 4th strikeout for Framingham pitching tonight.
That brings up number 13, Nick.
They've been from 4 different pitchers. So a big first out to the inning. The bases remain loaded now for Nick Pedroli. He has driven in 2 runs in this game, 1 on a bases loaded hit by pitch, and then last inning on a sacrifice fly. Takes that pitch inside for ball 1. This Milford team just does not swing at bad pitches. Just grinding down opposing pitchers all season long. Count right now at 1 ball and 1 strike to Pedroli. Takes that pitch just off the outer edge. "21 pitches already in this inning for Nate Wang, who now falls behind Pedroli 3 balls and a strike. So flirting with another bases loaded walk. Here is the 3-1 pitch. It is not close. And so it's a 3 RBI night for Pedroli with 3 very unconventional runs batted in, courtesy of a hit by pitch, a sac fly, and now a bases loaded walk to make it 14-6 Milford. And now Sean McGee will come to the plate again with the bases full. And he'll take a first pitch strike. McGee tonight, a double in the 1st inning, an infield single in the 4th, and an RBI single last inning. Overall 3 for 4, and now drives this pitch down the left field line, and that is just foul. Had that been in fair territory, it likely would have ended this game. But a foul ball, a 1 ball, 1 strike count, and McGee will dig back in. And so everyone getting on the same page. It's not a 1-ball, 1-strike count. It's an 0-2 count on McGee. He now lets that pitch go for ball 1. Still lively over in the first base dugout as McGee takes ball 2. Braden Lewis on deck. Again, Milford with a long inning. This is the 7th batter of this 6th inning. Takes a pitch that bounces in the dirt for ball 3. And a full count now to McGee. Payoff pitch from Wang, and that gets McGee in the shoulder. A bases loaded hit by pitch will force in Gavin Metcalf from third base.
That brings up number 7, Braden Lewis.
And so it is now 15-6. And here comes the Framingham head coach once again. With Milford closing in perhaps on a mercy rule situation here in the 6th inning if any more runs score. But Coach Smith keeping hope alive for Framingham. He will make yet another pitching change. It looks like he will call in Owen Finnegan from center field to take over as the 6th pitcher of the game, trying to keep Framingham alive for their at-bats in the 7th inning. So we'll take a quick pause for the pitching change. It is now 15-6. Milford on top of Framingham. We'll continue with this bottom of the 6th inning in just a moment. Stay with us here on Milford TV.
Oh, maybe. Let me check. Yeah, you want to keep it? Put it in the, yeah,
Now
keep it.
pitching
Put
for
it in the,
Framingham, number 18, Owen Finnegan.
That's yours, all right?
yeah, I don't have it.
Go, B.
Owen Finnegan now joins the parade of Framingham players that have climbed on top of the pitcher's mound tonight. He is the 6th pitcher in all for post 117. He inherits a bases loaded 1-out jam. Braden Lewis at the plate, a 15-6 lead, and Lewis, who had home run on his mind with that swing, does not make contact. Lewis had a 2-run double in the 1st inning. It's his only hit tonight. He was hit by a pitch in the 4th. 1 ball, 1 strike count if one more run crosses the plate for Milford in this inning, it would bring this game to a mercy rule conclusion. Here's a 1-1. That is down low. Finnegan to the set. The righty's pitch is hit hard towards the shortstop. They'll throw to second base to get an out there. The relay onto first base is not in time as Burchard comes in the back door from third base to score the 16th and final run of this game. So it comes in on a force play at second base, a fielder's choice play, and an RBI for Lewis. That will make it 16-6 and will end this game with a mercy rule. A game that had a little bit of everything, had the makings of a competitive game there in the middle innings, but Milford flexing their offensive muscles as they have done so many times this season, and they will end up finishing it with a 16-6 mercy rule victory. So with the win, Milford stays perfect in District 4 competition. They are now 16-0. Framingham loses their 5th straight. They are now 3-11 on the year. So Milford will continue to bring this season toward its conclusion. They'll be in action again on Friday night here at home against Hudson Post 100. And they've got a busy weekend on tap with makeup games against Cherry Valley and Shrewsbury before they finish the regular season on the road on Monday at Bowditch Field against this Framingham team. Right now, this is our last coverage of the regular season, but we certainly hope to get some playoff coverage in for this Post 59 team, as they have had such an impressive run. No doubt will be by far and away the favorite to win the Zone 4 playoffs. So we hope to bring you some playoff coverage over the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned to our social media for any updates on future coverage here. But we certainly wish Milford well as they continue with this very impressive 2025 season. But that's going to wrap things up for the coverage tonight. A big thank you to our Milford TV crew on hand, and I am Tim Coet, coming to you live from our Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth. That final score, one final time in 6 innings, Milford defeats Framingham 16-6. This has been a presentation of Milford Legion Baseball here on Milford TV. It's presented by the Rail Trail Flatbread Company. So long, everybody.